The following words were spoken by the late Red Skelton on his television program as he related the story of his teacher, Mr. Laswell, who felt his students had come to think of the Pledge of Allegiance as merely something to recite in class each day. Now, more than ever, listen to the meaning of these words. I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester, and it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. May I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one. Pledge, dedicate all my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. United, that means that we've all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states, 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that's love for country. And to the Republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, and not from the leaders to the people. For which it stands, one nation. One nation meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or quality of dealing fairly with others, for all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, under God. Now, wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that's a prayer, and that it would be eliminated from schools too? God bless America.
Hello from upstate New York. This is Tom Wedner, the conversationalist. Hey, what's going on in your world? Like and subscribe. Hit that bell. Help me out here. Or should I really say that? Because it's been a tough week. We went down the rabbit hole this week because everything about politics pissed me off. So Friday night, we air it out, right? So let's get to it. But before we do that, I want to lay out the ground rules again. If you want to talk to me, 8 minutes. If you want to email, keep it under 1,500 words. If you're a fast talker, you can get 1,500 words in 8 minutes. But most people get 12 to 1,300 words per minute. So please, there's a rule for a reason. 8 minutes, that's all you get out of my life. Most of you are really, really, really amazing, and I really appreciate that. Your input is like amazing to me. You should open up so many worlds to me. However, I'm not reading 22 pages of an email. Sorry, Jacob. I read the first page and the last page. That's all I got out of it. Don't send me those emails. They don't work. Listen, Josh is going to put the link in there where you can send your comments and your emails and all that stuff because my inbox is taking a beating, mostly from my friends who really are, Savatuges. All right, let's get on it. So Josh put this together for Friday night. Hey, Josh, why don't you say hello? This is the Wizard of Oz.
What is up, chat? Looking forward to our new people showing up.
Excellent. Excelente. Thank you, guys. Like and subscribe. Show up. Don't yell at me. Just put out your opinion in 8 minutes. Anyway, so on Friday we do politics basically because most people are out to dinner with their wives, and we're lonely here, so we might as well talk about something controversial. Okay, let's get into it. Is anybody else in the same pew in the church seeing all this political nonsense going on? Am I the only one in church singing to the choir? I don't think so. All right, let's get on to it. Okay, so Trump finally said it. I'm out. We will no longer support Ukraine. We are going to go back to the boundaries and the borders, and I'll speak to Putin and I'll take care of it. Finally, the man stepped up and said, this is what we're doing in Ukraine. Israel is striking Lebanon. Think about this. You already have two countries involved. Now you have 3 countries involved against Israel. Are we repeating history every 30 years? Does something happen that pisses Israel off and these people go to war? Now listen, this is for my Arab friends and family. Stop. You gain nothing. You attack Israel, they come back 10 times strong. They do more damage. Say you kill 1,000 people, they kill 30,000. They blow up every place you have to live, just so that you have to start over again. You get it? Stop messing with Israel. Finally, I don't know where Harris stands on Israel, but I know where she stands on Ukraine. Money, money, money. She wants to send more and more over to her. Trump comes back and says, no, we're going to settle that. And we're not going to have this going on in the Trump administration. Can anybody be clearer than that? Tell me, have you heard a clearer statement from Harris or from Biden? Please, pick one and give me your opinion. Oh, let me tell you something. Was digging. We were going, the interns, I worked them to death, and all their friends that showed up, I put them to work. We went down the rabbit hole, okay? So we did our own calculations. We went in, there's a website for the Department of Justice where you can get actual numbers on crimes for probably 3 days, and then 3 days before that. So, it's very interesting and it made me open my eyes. Okay, so let's, gang, take a guess. How many illegal aliens have been convicted of murder in the last 3 years? Ding, 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 ding. No, Raj, you're way too low. Ding, 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 ding. All right, come on, one more. Give me one more guess. Nope, you're even low.
3,000?
That's a big number. Try 13.
13,000.
13K. 13,000 have either been convicted of manslaughter, murder in the 2nd degree, murder in the 1st degree. 13,000. We're not letting. These are poor people that have to be, basically kowtowed to, because they are good people. Just ask Harris. Somebody explain this to me, because I don't get it. But this is what's happened this week. If you want to fact check me, do it, because I got more and you're going to be scared. Right now, I know who I'm voting for, and I'm not going to say because that would influence people, maybe like a person in Australia. But I want you, very simply, just get a piece of paper and a pen, or a wall and a crayon, and just take some notes and get your thoughts together for your 8 minutes. Let's talk for just a minute how much money we're spending in Ukraine, how much money we're spending in Israel. I'm not going to tell you the numbers because you won't believe me. Look them up, Google it, see that number. That's the first thing, okay? I want you also to write down what Harris has accomplished in the last 3 years, part of this administration. She was the border czar, who never went to the border. She went down one day this week and she was on the ground for a hot 12 minutes. Yeah, she was supervising the border. Where is this going? Are you voting for Harris? Because a lot of people are, because she keeps talking about filling your pockets with federal funds. We're going to give you a child. We're going to supplement, child care. We're going to supplement your taxes where child credit is going to be $6,000 from 2,000 to 6,000. You're going to, most people didn't pay that much in taxes. How are they going to get it out? I don't care if you promise them 10,000, but if the pool runs dry, that's all you're getting. You understand how that works? It's just a fig Newton of your imagination. Get it? Yeah, I see questions coming in on that, but I'll get to that because I need to go here or Josh will kick my ass. Okay, Zelensky, right? So Zelensky, the more and more I see from the European news, because not American news doesn't give it to you, but I go to Europe and get, some of the raw footage. And Zelensky, who I thought at the beginning was, pretty stand-up guy. Guess what? Turns out Zelensky's just like everybody else that gets in power. They're basically, running their little fiefdom or their kingdom or their communist state. I don't know because I'm not that educated in this. But what I do know is there's missing money, there's missing equipment, and he is influencing the American election because he wants Harris, because Harris will continue the Biden field day of money and equipment and all that stuff. So why am I saying this? This is me talking now. This is not something that happened. It looks to me, and correct me if I am off the mark, most Americans want a nanny state. What does that mean, nanny state? Well, we don't want to pay taxes, but we want to get every benefit out of them that we can because Generation Z thinks everything is, comes miraculously through the game they're playing. Let's talk about this nanny state. It's been going on since like 74. 74, everything changed. Actually, in 63, it changed, but it took a good 10 years to really start affecting America because it was slow to get rolling. The Great Society and the welfare state was born in 63, but like I said, 74 was when it really got rolling, when people found out that kick your husband out and have 6 kids and you can make a good living, and not have to go out to work every day. Isn't that nice? Boy, I think there's somebody giving me money. Nobody's ever given me money. People are taking money. Oh, but that's another story. So let's talk about Harris. She is truly Robin Hood. She's taking from the rich, or at least telling everybody she's going to take from the rich and give to the poor. Yay, Mrs. Harris. What's going on, guys? Is there anybody out there think that what she's going to give us is free? Where do you think this money's coming from? My dad said, he was a World War II vet, said, no matter what the government does, there's something else going on. So while you're looking over here, they're doing something over here. And that's the way I feel with Harris. Wherever Harris is, she's putting in her 2 cents to conform with what that state or that city leans to. If they have a lot of farmers, she's going to give them all of these farm subsidies. Comes out of your taxes. If it's housing, comes out of your taxes, but she'll promise it. And when she gets into office, she'll do what Biden did. When she couldn't get the funding bills through, she just executive order them like Biden. He just wrote an executive order by the time they got around to, talking to him and then suing him and then getting one of the 3-letter agencies involved. Now everybody's on to the next problem, and they don't even know that he didn't complete what he said he was going to do. Well, Mrs. Harris, I think, has modeled that pretty good. And if I'm wrong, tell me, because, I can be wrong. It happened, I think, in 1990. I was wrong once, but then I found out I was right, so I wasn't wrong. All right. So I'm buzzing around the internet, waiting for my interns to show up because they're always a half an hour, 45 minutes late. And they always drag in other interns from other places that are bored and want to sit into our process. Today we had 5 people here, and we're only supposed to have 2. So it was interesting. Got my fill at Gen X. Okay. So once again, Trump says voter ID, one-day voting, make sure that you know that your vote counts. So that being said, like in New York State, a week ago we started voting. We don't vote on one day. A week ago, your absentee ballots or your off-site ballots, whatever they're calling it now, can go in. But hello, down in South in Florida is basically the same, a little more strict, but basically, where are those ballots right now under 15 feet of water? And are they going to get counted? Are they going to ever get found? I don't know. How do you track this? Now, I'm not the computer whiz. Josh is. Mr. Oz. Isn't there a way that every American can sign in on election day through some type of data process and then put their vote in? Is that possible?
Probably. With social media, gets billions of visitors all day, every day.
Well, would the load be too big for what we're requiring?
Not at all.
No.
Not even
See?
close. Yeah.
Josh just educated you. Listen up. Get that crayon out. Start writing on the wall. You need to know this stuff. So anyway, back in the Stone Age, when I used to have to outrun the dinosaurs to go vote, we voted on one day. If you couldn't get to the polling booth, a poll worker came while you filled out your absentee ballot and you gave it to them. They sealed it in an envelope and they gave you like a receipt that ripped off the back of the envelope. But you could not get them unless it was a verifiable problem of getting to the polls. So it kept the number real low. Now everybody votes when they want. At least a month ahead, 2 months ahead, 5 days after. I love the 5 day after. Well, what if it gets stuck in the mail? Oh, well, it's your responsibility to vote by this Tuesday. Okay. We're about 35 days, 37 days away from elections. I don't care who you vote for. Vote, vote, vote. If you don't vote, you have no dog in the fight. And when you vote somebody in, you follow them. And if they're not doing what you voted them in for, vote them out. Dun, 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 dun. I had to get that out. It's been in the back of my head screaming for it to get out. All right, listen, like and subscribe because this is important. You got to keep me on the air. So my commercial is, don't make me come to your house. All right. like, subscribe, hit the bell, send me an email. Josh, put up the links. You know, we got to use that media account. We got to get that rocking and rolling and out of my email account.
Right. Reach out to us on Twitter.
Well, you give your speech how they can contact me. I don't know it all. 2 years ago, I didn't even know how to turn on the computer. Let's rock and roll. So where else can they reach us besides Twitter or X?
Well, we have a media email address, terranmedia@onecloud.us.
Got that, guys?
That's
Write
in the
it down
chat. It's
into
pinned
further?
for them. Yep.
Oh, okay, it's in where he said it's pinned. Okay, so here's the rest of the commercials, then I'll go on with this. Aortic Hope is an excellent organization, but they need help, people. They need people to join. They need people to share. I'm a survivor, as you can see my shirt. They would actually give you these shirts and draw on them with a red magic marker where the aorta is, where the heart is, and that's how they taught you as a patient. So I stole a couple of extra shirts and I wear them at Halloween. But I wanted you to see it. See that? Skeleton. You can draw in whatever you want. People get weird. People, be careful when you watch these things. And the last thing is St. Jude. Everything in the curse jar always goes to St. Jude. So you guys are keeping me broke. Just wrote another 100 and I think 59, maybe $69 out of the curse jar. I have a lot of friends that curse. We're old. We're used to doing that. So all you people with the safe room, red alert, go running. I might say more than frog. All right, so there's the three commercials. One for me, one for Aortic Hope, one for St. Jude, in no necessary order. Once again, the wizard is with us, Josh, and he's going to correct me when I'm wrong. And I now have my soon-to-be service dog laying on my feet. And this whole room, you can't help me. All right, so listen. Watching Joe Rogan, you know I like Joe Rogan, right? But I can't watch him for 2-3 hours. I can only watch him. I can put up with his guests about 5 minutes, and that's at like 1.75. Anyway, that's the speed, guys. If you didn't know, I didn't know that until Josh told me. Makes looking at videos so much easier. And if you want to watch my video at 1.5, you can shave off a lot of time, but I actually sound coherent faster because I'm a little slow. I'm 73. Shut up. All right. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the cartels. Okay. So like any criminal venture, you have to be 3 steps ahead, looking at the situation and saying, how do I get my foot in the door? How do I make money? And this is, cartels from Mexico all the way down to South America, all of the, places that have MS-13 and all that. Well, guess what? So Joe says, like these cartels from the South have decided that the infrastructure is there because American gangs, they have certain areas cut up. This one does drugs, this one does pot, this one does stolen cars, whatever. You know how it is. They're trying to mimic the old mafia, but they don't have coordination. Like, the mafia was on Rome's legions and set up, and it was very organized. We were still criminals, but we weren't gangsters. Don't mess that up. Mafia and gangsters, they're not the same thing. I'll do a video on that sometime. Anyway, so the South American gangs are coming in and they're taking over and wiping out the local gangs, actually taking over their property and enterprises, whether it's drugs or whatever. Right now, I guess a big thing is phones. You can get a whole container full of phones from China, They're knockoffs, obviously, but they work. Uh, and so, and so a lot of these gangs from South America, that's one of their main money makers. And then they have shakedowns, which is they go to the immigrants that get the 2,000 a month and say, you know, you're going to give me $200 and I'll let you continue to, you know, do whatever you want, live your life as long as I get my money. Here, look. So here I am sitting here trying to say to you, what the hell is going on? Trump, Harris, Department of Justice, Homeland Security, any of those three-letter agencies that we're paying over and over and over again for the same services by people who were not elected but appointed. And I wouldn't appoint any of these clowns we have in the three-letter agencies to dog catcher. Oh, I went off on a tangent. Oh, Tom, stay focused. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. I'm into my second gummy, so you get what you get. Okay, so MS-13 mowed down 19 people. It was a local gang, and it was out in California, I think. And it got 90 words on page 3. So whatever, for whatever reason, the media is not reporting it. Scary, right? For you people that have the broadcast news as your only source of news, you're in trouble. If you don't believe that, look at the debate. Trump was debating 3 people, not one person. The next thing, everybody played the race card this week. I'm getting tired of it. You know, why are you bringing up race? Come on. You know, this is just something stupid. I have black friends. I have white friends. I know you've heard this since the 60s. I mean, I go to a group and the most intelligent, forward-thinking person in the group is a black gentleman. And he's insightful, but he has that booming voice that makes you listen to him. And I so enjoy him when he speaks, and he, except for carrying around a heart when he walks around the neighborhood, you know, a little scary, right? So forget racism, okay? Forget racism. I think you guys understand, and it's no longer about race. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn, and a couple streets over were the black families. And then in between, I think it was Polish and Spanish, and then behind us was Jewish people, and I almost said Jews, you know, you can't say that. Anyway, so Jewish people. So, you know, out of necessity, we had to get along, you know. Just when you're in that tight of area, you get along or get the hell out, because they're going to beat you out. That's how I was raised. I mean, I know it's different today. We got safe rooms for people that listen to me and then panic. Sorry, I didn't mean to trip you off, or whatever the kids say now. What do they say, Josh, when you trigger somebody?
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't even listen to Xbox chat when I play games.
There's something they call you when you say things that trigger other people.
There's something that they call you?
Yeah, or an acronym. I don't know.
I mean, they'll say butthurt. I hear that a lot from kids.
What's it called?
Don't get butthurt about this, or why are you butthurt?
Yeah.
Right? There's no respect there.
Thursday, I remember the conversation about butts. Anyway, what's next, guys? You just explain it to me, because, you know, I am 73 and I miss a lot of stuff. And granted, you know, I lose it sometimes because I get so excited. I call it passion. Everybody calls it a mental illness. I see you blowing up my emails, but I'm ignoring you right now just because I have a lot to say. Josh, Joshua,
Yes, sir.
what can you give us a list of what we're doing now in a week? I know we have the Friday and the Sunday and the Wednesday.
Yeah.
What else are we doing?
Well, we're going to be rapidly expanding your social media presence. We've got you on Rumble. They can find you on Rumble. You're starting to get your feet wet with Twitter. Building a following there should be interesting. There's a lot of views happen in all the disparate areas. Getting you more vocal in the chat, getting you more vocal in comments, and building those bridges inside of YouTube is also going to be coming down the pipeline. So if you have a YouTube channel, definitely reach out to us. We love to collaborate.
Well, see,
Yeah.
not only do we give you the latest rants and information and things to think about, we give you an opportunity. So take advantage of it. If Josh says that he'll do something for you, link up, whatever it is, I can do a commercial on you like I just did now for your website. If it's something that is reasonable, I don't want any OnlyFans or, people that are, dressed like furry babies, we're always starting from a bad point there. So let's start from a good point. 8 minutes of conversation. 1,200 to 1,300 words. Okay? That's all it takes. Get you organized, makes you think, makes you put things in perspective. It doesn't keeps you from repeating the same thing. You understand how that works? 8 minutes. Someday I'll tell you the story about 8 minutes and how it saved my life from a nurse who taught me that, living 8 minutes at a time. Because in that 8 minutes, two things are going to happen, one good and one bad. That was her philosophy. Wonderful girl, wonderful person. Girl. I was 60 and she was probably 70 back then, but she was wonderful. Took care of me. When I got off the helicopter in Long Island, she had a warm towel and put it around my head because I was freezing because of the helicopter blades and snow and ice. And all she said to me was, she's putting this hot towel around my head and neck, and she says, "We got you now. Don't worry." I don't remember a whole lot about getting sick, but I remember that. I remember the people that put out that extra kindness. Why am I talking about this? Well, guess what? I never thought this would happen, but it has happened. I watched so many videos on this. Right now, statistically, follow up by some university. Oh, no, Southern California, remembered. Acts of kindness are no longer acts of kindness. People are expecting that. They are expecting something good to happen to them. Why? Well, it's that lottery fever. Every month we get $100 out of our account, Aaron and I, and we buy 4 food cards, gas cards, something that would help people out. And we write a little note saying, thank you for whatever. And, we give it to old people mostly, and then single moms with kids. That's always a good one. I love to see the smile on their face. And we just drop them in their cart at Aldi, wherever we are. So they look at it. And that's a nice surprise, right? And we do that once a month. And that's our act of kindness. But I do act of kindness every day. It's in my calendar. I call a friend if I'm having a bad day, just a 10-minute conversation. Somebody, reaching out to you when you're in the house going stir crazy. It's a 10-minute phone call can change somebody's life. You understand that? However, this thing with Denzel Washington came up, and I usually don't watch those things, but a friend sent it to me, so I gave him the courtesy of watching it. So Denzel, you can look this up, got this thing about doing acts of kindness. Don't do it. It's lost its intention. People now deserve everything they get. They don't have to work for it now, but they deserve everything the government's going to give them. Everything, you know. I don't understand. They don't correlate that the welfare system or the whatever system of food banks and things like that come directly out of taxpayers' money. I mean, they say that they're going to what? How do I say it? They're going to make your life better. When handing people money makes their life better. I've never experienced that. I basically just don't get it. Had to do dog correction. It's important to me that you at least understand that I'm not here bitching and complaining. I love America. I love everything about it. I know it's not a democracy, it's a republic. I pledge allegiance to the republic. You understand? I'm an American, an old guy, an old American. My voice is going to be gone soon, sooner than I would like. Not fast enough to get me out of this misery I'm in some days, and I am miserable today. Luckily, everybody's out of the house except the dog. So I'm going to close this out, wrap it up, start giving you the questions for next time we meet. But as always, like and subscribe for me, please. Send me an email. Go on Twitter and ask a question. Whatever, however you guys want to do it. Josh will make sure I get it and I have access to it. The most important thing is I have 2 interns and they're Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever that is. And, they're really good people. You hear my words? They are good people. However, my life experiences and their life experiences are so different. We can read the same article and when we talk about it, doesn't sound like either one of us read the article. Isn't that scary that it can be interpreted so much and so hard that it makes it hard to understand people? It takes me about a week to teach my interns how to understand my speech pattern and my words, because I use older slang and I use some street terms, and people find that, I guess, disconcerting or just don't know what they mean and they're too shy to ask. All you Utes out there, like Joe Pesci says, the Utes. Anyway, guys, love you. All God's blessings. It's important that you know that, because if I'm not here next week or you're not here next week, we're going to regret not saying them. Like and subscribe. Send all nude pics to Josh. Thank you. Thank you for letting me come into your life for the last, 58 minutes? God bless.
We're at 40.
Oh, maybe I'm reading this wrong.
Yeah, I think you're reading your clock wrong. Because you know what segment you didn't bring up today?
Oh, what's that?
TV and movies.
Oh, yeah, movies. I forgot all about that. I didn't write anything down. But, however, I did watch a really, really good movie. In fact, I went over it about 4 times in that where they give you the sequence of the movie streaming and then you put it into what you like. And I don't know. How do you pick out a movie? You pick it out like a book, the title, what the picture looks like, what stars are in it. That's how I pick it out. I probably passed a lot of good movies that way, but that's the way I did it. Anyway, I bet you're waiting for me to tell you the movie. However, I should make a guess. Anyway, no, seriously, this was a good movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And when you hear it, you're gonna laugh. So you ready? I was a mail order bride in World War II with who was that good looking guy? Cary Grant and some old singer who was made back in I think the late 60s or early 70s. And so it's colorized, it's color, it's got really good dialogue. It's a very funny movie, and I never watched it before. It's one of those gems you find, right? So mail order, right, or something like that. I'll put it to Josh and he'll put it in the link. But anyway, so I fell asleep about 90% of the way in the recliner. So I got up, and of course, first thing you got to do is hit the head, and then you come back. You're hungry because you got to take some more pills, and you don't want to take them on an empty stomach. So I switched the movie back on. I back it up about 10 minutes. Got 3 minutes into it and fell asleep again. So that's my movie watching now. Watching really good stories with dialogue. There's a couple. There's one called Wolf on Apple TV, and it's Brad Pitt and a few other stars. But it's supposed to be a dialogue-driven movie. There's a lot of shoot up and all that crap, but I understand it's very good, well made and has really good intellectual content. And what's the other thing that I wanted to talk about? Oh, TV shows. I don't know. Last night there was all these doctor shows on, 911 and this cruise doctor and then another doc. Don't waste your time, guys. My wife watched them. I wanted to throw up. These guys, not only can they not act, but they can't imitate a doctor at all. And the only thing about it is shaking their booties. So if you want to waste 3 hours of your life, go on there on Thursday nights and watch this bullshit. But, please, you only got so many brain cells left when you're my age. I have one for breathing, one for walking. And, I think there's one traveling around that does everything else. But I'm limited. So bear with me. That's why I got Josh around, the wizard. He shows me when my sequencing is off, and that's a big thing when you have any kind of aortic dissection or other grouping like disease. Aortic disease. Get that out in your head. Think aorta. That's another one. Aortic hope. Come on, guys, help me out here. Send them $1.30 too. I'll match it. I'm gonna have something. I'm crafting out a hope box right now out of a cigar box so I can send it off to Josh. I have probably about a third of it to finish, but I ran out of hot glue sticks, so I have to go get some more of those. But it's a real neat thing, it's a innocuous cigar box, but when you open it up, it tells a story or it shows you a scene. I have one that has a waterfall and river in it and all these gnomes and fairies running around. And I told my granddaughters that anybody who wanted that had to put their name on the bottom of the box. A couple of days later, I noticed the box was off the shelf and on my desk, and I flipped it over, and sure enough, everybody had signed it, including their mothers. So I put it back on the shelf. I figure when I croak, they can figure out who gets it. Anyway, that's where I'm going with all this stuff. Broadcast news. Somebody said something to me yesterday at Dunkin' Donuts. They said to me, no, it was at the Rock and Robin diner, a little diner we have here. Good food. All they said was like something real stupid, like, I don't even know what it was because it wasn't important enough to remember it. But it was something about elections and voting and how easy it is. And I went, you know, let's face it, it's more complicated than it was in the 70s when I started voting. And I've been voting from the 70s. So I know what I'm talking about. My brother, Rick, who died of a aneurysm, he owns Shoop Voting Company, voting machine company in New York City. So look it up, Shoop. He was the owner for quite some time, and I know more than I want about how voting machines can be rigged. Uh, you know, unless it's a piece of paper that you put an X on, and then you feed into the counter after you've given your ID. I'm going to leave it up to people like Josh to figure out how we can do it just on the computer. I have my secret password, and I scan my iris and up my nose and down my ribs, and you know, whatever they have to do to identify me. And then I get, you know, they have look at it. Think about this: a curtain closes, and then the ballot appears before you. You put X's where you want them, and then you put file, and it goes away, and the curtains open up, and you're walking out of the voting booth, and on your chest it says, "I voted." So I know Josh, you know, guy's smarter than anybody I've ever met, and he's patient because you know I need a lot of hand holding.
I wish I was the smartest person, you know. In the immediate people that we know, we get to share a lot of news with very bright doctors.
You know, for a long time, you know, December 23rd is going to be my 13th year. Long time, 3 years in a recliner. Can you imagine living in a recliner for 3 years? I did it. Kept me doped up, fed me, had a TV and a computer that I didn't really know how to use. I could check my emails, but I don't think I could do anything else on the computer because nobody took the time. They just stuck a laptop on the tray next to me, and nobody took the time to show me what to do with it. And then we went from cable to Roku, and I had to relearn that. In between my 9 visits in that 3 years to the emergency room, and people starting to think I was a hypochondriac. And then I found out about Aortic Hope and the Hangout and all those ugly people who have really nothing to say. This is a group of people that get together for 2 hours and we have nothing of import to say. We just make fun of the situations that we're in or the people we know or Josh. We keep it light. We fly like comedian gods. So if you want to drop in, that would be great. And mention my name, you'll get a good seat. Oh, I don't know, Josh. I guess I'm just worn out. This has been a rough week.
You said it was a rough week. You said
The
that
interns
very
just
thing.
kept me. The interns kept me going all week long. I swear to God, these sometimes at 5 o'clock when it was dinner time, I had to kick them out of here. What the hell was that all about? So, if you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else.
I think we're good. What are you going to do for the
Uh,
weekend?
I have the Sunday show, and I have another load of firewood coming. That's 2.5 boards, so that needs to be stacked. All the grandchildren will be put in sort of slave labor where they have to stack firewood for me. They'll complain the whole time, but when I give them each $20, they're very happy with me. So anytime the dinero is out, the kids are cooperative. How is that? You know the difference? If I said no, I ain't stacking firewood, 3 people would have beat the shit out of me before I got to the firewood pile and started stacking it. You understand how that worked? Literally be beaten by 3 people. all the way, and you're running to do the job, but they're still beating you. Now they want $20. And no, which is what they call me, is Italian for grandfather. You know, he fell into the trap. It's like somebody, I think it was Josh talking about Xbox, and there's another one, right? PlayStation or something. Those are all down in the basement, and there's, I periodically have to get another TV or something. It's always not their fault that the TV fell off the wall, or it has a big crack and something happened. They were all taking naps or something. Nobody admits to anything because they've been taught by their fathers to plead the fifth, beg for forgiveness, and just get on with life. You don't want to get pissed off. So placate them. And they do. They do a great job. Manipulating the little germ infestations. All right.
How about on Sunday, we do the difference between the mafia and the gangsters.
Oh, jeez. You really want me to go into that?
I kind
Wait a
of
minute,
do. I really do.
I got to get a clean page because, if I don't write it down, I don't remember. So Sunday, you want to do mafia versus gangsters. This one, you're going to have to put up at least 2 videos.
That works for me. I'll figure it out.
All right. That's actually, I don't even have to go down the rabbit hole. I have enough firsthand knowledge of the difference between, from being in Brooklyn and then Staten Island and then working in law enforcement and then the restaurant industry. You come into a lot of gangsters and a lot of mafioso. And basically, a little tease, a little commercial here. The mafia runs with a hierarchy. It's based on the Roman legion. Gangsters, for a short answer, is the toughest guy in the group. Okay? They don't have any structure. You got one person that runs the group until somebody comes along, beats his ass, and kills them or whatever, and replaces them. But, it's still the same group, whether it's Joe running it or Sammy or whoever. They go by the same name, and, they have it's really good to take over a group of gangsters. Why? Well, if you're the boss of a group of people that are making money, you're going to make quick money, but you're not going to last too long. At least if you, at what I remember of the original mafia, you were taken care of, your family was taken care of. So that was the difference. Mafia was an enterprise, and gangsters were just a nuisance. And they were like leeches on society and neighborhoods. And I'll talk from the neighborhood. I can get you through real urbanized Brooklyn into the congested Brooklyn and the decongested Staten Island that were all single homes. We lived on Stewart Avenue, 32 Stewart Avenue. We lived on Morningstar Road for a short period of time. I guess my grandparents moved over to Staten Island about 4 years before we did, and they bought what was called a compound. And what it was just a brick wall that encompassed the property, and there was usually a couple of houses on the property and a garage, and really ugly people walking around inside that you never knew why. So basically, that's how I was raised and how I quickly found out what the difference between gangsters and mafioso. So, is that a good enough commercial?
I do. I like that. That's a good teaser.
So you're gonna cut that out and put it up for advertising?
We're gonna fit it in. Throw that up on Twitter as well.
All right. What else, Josh?
Let's see. And then
Like and subscribe.
yeah, and then we're going to be working on social media every morning here very soon, very very soon.
Yeah, is that a week or 2 weeks? What am I blocking out?
You're locking into 2 weeks from
Okay, 10
10 to
o'clock.
11. Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm getting an education.
You're getting muscle memory.
So that's what I need. I have to be more efficient with my handling of the computer.
And your
That
cell
goes
phone.
without saying.
And your cell phone.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to do
I
it
used to,
all over the
I
place.
used to have my cell phone this way until I got yelled at to make it sideways. So I learned that real quick in Hangout. Everybody said, "What are you doing?" I'm sorry. I don't know how to. I know how to operate it, but I didn't know there was like a code and some kind of etiquette that you should be sideways instead of
Fills
other
up the
way.
frame. That's all. It just fills up the frame. But
Yeah, I think you guys
is no help.
I think you guys are doing too many gummies. At least that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Right on.
Oh, hey, listen, I gotta tell you, before we sign out, go over, see my friends at Aortic Hope, send some nickels and dimes to St. Jude, like, subscribe, hit the bell, help me out. Maybe I'll make you famous. You can have your own YouTube channel, like Josh said. However, we only have 37 days to election day. Vote! 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 If you don't vote, you have no dog in the fight. If you do vote, hold their feet to the fire. Make sure you voted for them for a reason and make sure they complete that reason. Or don't vote them in next time. Take this country back with your vote. Sorry, I ran it again. I gotta stop using the drugs.